Wanted to recap a couple of the shows that we've done. The Stephen Queen 917 show, huge show.
So much
huge
fun.
reaction. Our biggest numbers that we've ever had. I'll be honest with you. I thought it wasn't one of our better shows. Jerry recognized it, and Sam Cabiglio. Everybody said this is one of the better shows. I just thought I was off that day, but a gigantic show, and people reaching out to me from as far away as Germany to talk about Porsche 917s. I'm doing an interview with some German TV show, which I said yes to. I usually don't say yes to any of that stuff.
Funny that you said you were off, because every time you say that, I think, no, you were doing great.
No, I was way off.
No,
way,
you were
way
fantastic,
off.
Particularly talking about the car and how you found it and getting in it and all of that stuff that you were central to in the 917.
And Jerry, it's just so great to listen to Jerry, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just be quiet and listen. I listened to that show, and Sam has got such incredible stories. Sam Cabiglio, who's Jerry's car consigliere, he just knows how to tell a story. And, you know, it's funny. I was reading the listener comments, and these drag racing guys were like, I can't believe that guy Sam was talking about this drag strip. And it's stuff I didn't even remember from the podcast. And then the chemistry you and Jerry and I have, it's just fun. It's really fun. We're going to do more of those. Jerry had a great time. We all had a great time. We're glad you guys liked it. And then this stolen car show, this 87 stolen car show, right? I won't go. We just did, I think, 20 minutes on it. I'm not going to do the same 20 minutes.
20 recorded minutes.
Frankly, not my best 20 minutes. So it's good, because now you're going to get the shortened version of this. Here's element top line number one. The 87 is better than I remember it. I looked at it in the hangar the other day. Your guy, Mark, killed it. And the detail, it really is perfect. And I don't know how that guy didn't crash it. But boy, are we lucky. And now it's even in better condition. And it's got a great story with it.
And
right?
we got porn tapes.
And if you see us in the 87, ask us and we'll show you the porn tapes. We'll let you take a selfie with them. Right?
Fat Ass Girls and Monster Booty 7.
Yes. We have to again thank LAPD and Beverly Hills Police Department. So you never really answered my question. Did you said it would cost money to have your car stolen? Did they charge you?
Actually, our friends at the Beverly Hills Police Department were kind enough to waive the administrative fee within the police department for us. That would have been $179, but I did have to pay tow and impound, and that was something along the lines of $500, give or take, a Hyundai. Yeah, it's not
So it costs
cheap.
money to have your car stolen.
It costs money.
When we find this guy, because we think we know who this guy is, are we going to try to get that money?
I think what we want to really do with this guy is see if we can penetrate his illness, see if we can get him better, make him a human. You know, I love these human projects.
I'm behind this. Yeah, I like this idea.
I think that
so. You want to? This is what we talked about. We want to get this guy a bed. We want to get him in rehab and make him a productive member of the Porsche community. Me primarily, so when we're on the Porsche in Malibu, someone asks, how did you guys meet? I can go, well, sit down, I'm going to tell you a story.
That's right. And we know he's a wheelman, and so we know he can drive. Right.
Do you think he would, if he got clean, do you think he would still like the porn, the fat-ass girls and all that stuff?
I think it's deep in those two neurons that fire. I think it's always going to be there.
Well, let me tell you how deeply this penetrated my life. In my spin class, as you know, I go occasionally to Soul Cycle, and I have an amazing teacher there named Gina, who teaches in Santa Monica and Brentwood. She's great, and I spin with the ladies of Brentwood, Zuckerman. They inspire me. They work hard.
I bet they do.
I'll be honest with you, they are better than me at spinning. I sit in the back row because I just can't keep up with them, but it's a good workout, and they lock the doors, and I can't get out. Unlike that Peloton that you can walk away and go get corn chips and chili. It's not watching you, or maybe it is. I don't know anything about it. I need that. I need the doors locked, and Gina is an amazing teacher. But Gina at the podium today says, "Hey, Spike," waves to me in the back. I heard about your car getting stolen. She knows the whole story. The spin teacher. Everything's okay? I'm like, yeah, it's great. I'm trying to yell over this. It's fine. You know, did they do anything to the car? No, the car's great. You got to check out Spike's podcast. You got to check out Spike's Instagram. She's giving me all these plugs
good attention.
to the ladies of Brentwood who are kind of looking at me and shrugging and going, okay, yeah, not exactly my thing. And then she goes, what? They didn't eat in it or anything, did they? And I said, oh, a little worse. And she goes, what? So apparently she didn't know most of the story. I said, well, they were smoking meth, some gasps from, because, again, this is the ladies of Brentwood, right? This isn't me and you having coffee on the porch in Malibu talking like guys.
I think they were gasps of titillation, personally.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think.
And she says, oh, God. And then she said, anything else? What did you find anything in there? And I said, yes, but I'd rather not bring it up. She goes, what did they find? And now everybody turns around. Now I'm on the spot. And I said, well, a bag of pornography, and he was doing some other stuff in there. And then they all go, oh, not really laughing, just aghast.
I don't think so. I think that was your entry point.
You think? Of course. You think the ladies of Brentwood?
Yes, in their lives, they need something like this. The idea of
they
meth
love this
smoking,
story.
Yeah, meth smoking and porn. And if you had added that he was running, a little business out of there with his girlfriend, I'm sure that there would have been one or two that wanted.
Wait, what
more.
Girlfriend? I don't know this detail. There's a girl in the car as well?
I'm assuming because there was.
Oh, I think this was a lone venture.
Okay, why were there girls' booty jeans and a girl's top in there?
I think that's his thing.
You think? Oh.
I think he takes off his clothes and turns into the girl.
Maybe.
And he goes back and forth. I mean, this is a meth head who can drive a car, for heaven's sakes, and take care of a car. But he's in La La Land, right? Weren't there weird furs and? Who has a DVD player without a DVD? I mean, DVDs without a DVD player.
I would not be surprised if he did something in the car that he shouldn't have been doing, like you.
Yes, there you go. Well, that came up, that this man was smoking meth and masturbating to porn covers. Right?
And ladies' clothes, ladies' booty shorts.
And then my spin class began. But look at how deeply this podcast has saturated into our culture. Pretty wild, huh?
I like that.
That would come up. And I'm not kidding. It's 99. It's about 60 women and me, and occasionally like Bradley Cooper, and then sometimes Judd Apatow when his wife drags him in. It's just, you can kind of hide in there, right? I couldn't today, but you usually can kind of hide.
You're a bottom shelf spinner.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Like booze. This bottom shelf booze. You're in the back. You're on the bottom shelf.
I like it. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm admitting I'm just not good at it. I don't aspire to be better at it, and I'm kind of comfortable in the background.
I was really happy. People were really, really cared about our car, and there was a lot of outreach of real friendliness and happiness that we got the car back without getting fucked.
We've got Tom Papa on the show in a minute, who's sitting in our new green room here at Hangar 56. We're not ready for him yet, though, Tom. Sit back down. Before that, it's time for Watch of the Week, sponsored by Crown and Caliber, our guy, Zuckerman.
I love those guys. You remember, you had a Crown and Caliber watch. It was a gold Datejust, and
yes.
I bought it right off your wrist.
That's right. I get these watches every once in a while to test drive from Crown and Caliber. And don't put a napkin in your nose, Zuckerman, please.
I'm trying to throw you off. I try to do that, but
don't.
You do that to me.
We're talking about our sponsors, Crown and Caliber, who are sponsoring Spike's Car Radio now. And the watch of the week I have in my hand right here. Look at this watch right here. Check that out. This is reference 116610. No one knows what that means.
I know what it means.
What?
It means it's a Hulk Submariner.
That's right. Hulk Mariner.
Hulk Mariner.
The Hulk Mariner.
Because it's green.
Yes, green bezel, green dial. These watches, I don't like that name. I don't think Hulk Mariner really works for this watch. I call it the Green Monster Mariner.
I like greeny.
You know what I'm saying? No, you don't. You're not from Boston. The Green Monster is our left field. Yeah, left field
By
wall.
the way, the dog track was called Wonderland, wasn't it?
I don't know what that has to do with this commercial.
I'm thinking of Boston, and I watched this. I watched this movie with Mark Wahlberg last night.
We're already way over. They paid for a 60, and now we're already a minute into this, and we haven't even got to the Crown and Caliber part.
Okay, go.
Let me just do it.
Go.
This green watch, what it represents to me, Zuckerman, why I've picked it as watch of the week is my love of Boston, my love of the Celtics, my love of the Red Sox left field wall, the Green Monster. I don't know if it's just because I'm old now, but I'm really identifying with my Boston Irish roots. And this watch represents it from Crown and Caliber. And as you've said, we've been working with these guys for an awful long time. They not only sell watches, they buy watches. Each watch is certified pre-owned with a 1-year warranty. And Zuckerman and I both love these guys. So there it is, Watch of the Week. The Green Monster Mariner. Go to crownofcaliber.com. They have a couple of them up there. You want this watch. So now we got Tom Papa coming out of the green room.
For the
second time. Here he comes. Woo! Some applause. He's got a new Netflix stand-up special called You're Doing Great. Tell us why you called it You're Doing Great. I read why you call it You're Doing Great, and I liked it. You tell everybody, and I'm going to go blow my nose.
I really got the name, the audience really named it from my tour over the last couple of years, because I was touring around the whole country, and I started to realize that people are dealing with a lot of anxiety. And people have this overwhelming feeling, even though they're working really hard and taking care of their family, doing everything that they're supposed to do, they have this feeling like they're not doing enough. And they feel like their life is paling in comparison to everyone they see on social media. And I realized people need to understand that life isn't supposed to be that great.
That's a theme we have.
Yeah, lower your expectations. Yeah. I mean, a simple life is really a pretty great life.
Yes.
And it's not to take the air out of it. It really, that is what is of value. And I just started telling people, like, you're doing great in the middle of the show. And people were coming up to me after the shows and genuinely were thanking me.
Yes.
Like, thank you for saying that.
It is good.
And it recalibrated. And now since it's come out on Netflix, people are really responding in this really great word-of-mouth way. It just kind of spread. And all the messages I'm getting are, it's hilarious, but more than that, I really needed to hear it.
Yes.
Which is such a bizarre thing.
That's what I thought when I read it.
Yeah.
Because we're all up in our own heads with our problems.
Yeah.
Thinking this is...
And it's like, as
right?
As grown-ups...
And you're just pointing out, this is okay. This is just the way it is.
This is it.
It's such a simple and obvious insight once you say it. That's why it resonates. No one has figured it out, and then you stumble along and state the obvious.
Yeah, and it came from me feeling it. Like I'm a victim of it too. You know, since social media hit, it's like, wait, now I'm comparing myself. It used to be you compared yourself to people in your community, and now you start to see everybody else's whatever, and most of it is fake anyway. And you just get into this thing. It's like, wait, take a deep breath. Calm down. You know, I really got the attitude from my grandparents who lived through the Great Depression and World War II and all that stuff. And these people, my grandmothers, were like, oh, yes, so someone died at school? All right, that's pretty bad. What are you going to do for dinner tonight? Like, let's go. I get it. Yeah, it sucks, but let's go. We're only here once.
Yes.
Let's enjoy it. Let's go. And this is what it is. It's not supposed to be like blissful happiness 24 hours a day. It's supposed to be just a simple life. You do your work, you take care of yourself, and you are actually, if you look at it, you're doing pretty great. Especially when you have the time to listen to a comedy special. You know, you're all right.
Yeah.
I can guarantee anyone that's listening to it is doing all right. You're not out there, you know, fighting stuff in the jungles. You're not under a bridge somewhere.
Right.
You're doing pretty
great. Or
great.
Today, when we're all talking about this coronavirus.
Yeah, right, exactly.
What are you thinking about coronavirus, Tom Papa? You came in and you kind of joked, I'm not going to shake hands with you.
Yeah, and you're the first.
Were you really doing that for real?
Yeah,
or?
I think you're the first people that I've done it with, but I think I'm going to start doing it.
You liked it.
Yeah.
You did it with us, and he likes it.
So you think that...
It's awkward because I'm very affable. I like hugging people.
Do you worry
I'm a very
about...
touchy Italian person. But
do you worry about germs? Are you a germy guy?
I'm not.
He's Italian. He's not Jewish.
I'm not. I was a little germy in the beginning of my stand-up career when I would travel around.
Right.
And then I started thinking, I can't live this way. And once I had kids, that really helped.
Yeah.
It. I was like, it's not about me. I'm fine. I'll lay on a bedspread in a hotel and move the curly hairs to the side and watch TV. I don't care anymore. I really am not germy.
Right. So where did this?
I was listening to The Daily on the way over.
Okay.
The New York Times podcast.
Yes.
I was giving all the details of like real in depth of every story. It's a great podcast. And is it recording? And I was really realizing that I was just listening to it, and they had an expert on, and it's like, look, it's pretty serious. It's serious. It's spreading really quickly. Here's what I got. You want to hear my little game of telephone?
Go ahead.
Kids don't get it.
Right.
Children aren't getting it.
That's
people,
all I cared about.
I know, right? Exactly.
I would rather die.
My kids are so funny. Like kids on social media now, they're just like, "Yay, pandemic!"
Yeah,
and they're like, "Raise the roof," and like they're just making jokes.
But imagine we were talking about before we started recording. All the old people die and leave the kids. It's like a movie.
It really is the perfect setting for a movie. People from 30 up are getting it, and they all die.
It's Logan's Run.
And they solve global warming and love each other.
And there they go, and they take care of each other. It could be the best thing that happens.
It really could be pretty great. Yeah. The planet really understands it. But yeah, so kids aren't getting it. People over 30 are getting it. The most people who have died from it are older Chinese men in China.
Right.
People that were old men are dying of it more than
old women.
Old women. And people that have respiratory problems.
Right.
Smokers.
Goes into the thing. Yeah, smokers. That's not a good thing. So that's it. And the death rate is around 2%, which is pretty high. Like
20
for the flu, it's
30.
like 0 point whatever
Right.
percent. This
0.02.
is 2. So this is the scary part that they said. Two more scary things. One is that there's a good chance you won't get it, but there's a good chance you'll know someone who died from it.
Oh.
And the other part was, this reminds this expert who's covered all these diseases, of the 1918
pandemic.
Influenza.
And that killed a whole bunch of people.
Millions.
And he said the thing about that is they got through it now, like this time of year, and it killed a certain amount of people, but then it goes dormant in the summer because it's hot. And then it was when it came back again in the next fall, winter, that's when it did all of the damage.
Right.
So it looks like it could be a pain in the ass for a bit.
But obviously medicine a little different in 1918.
Medicine different, respiratory stuff.
Red Sox
different.
won the World Series in 1918. That wasn't all bad.
Wasn't that the Black Sox?
No.
That wasn't the year they threw the World Series?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was their last win. That was their last win.
you might be confusing it with black lung.
Yes.
So it's pretty scary that it can spread like that. If you're healthy, you could get it, and a lot of people are getting it, and you can't even tell because it doesn't have that big of an impact. It'll just seem like you could have like the flu and
do you know we've been frightened so many times by these diseases?
Totally.
Remember Mad Cow was going to give all all of us
What about killer bees in the 70s?
the killer bees, the swine
the mad
flu,
cow, the bird flu.
right?
Legionnaires'
A lot of it.
disease.
Very few of these things actually. I was telling Zuckerman I was at I think it would be 16 years ago. SARS stock.
Yeah.
The Rolling Stones benefit Canada with 1 million people. I was roadieing for my friend in guitar. Walking around in the middle of SARS. I had no thought of it. Didn't made a fly. I flew right to Canada. And then it just disappeared real fast. I get skeptical of this stuff.
I'm skeptical too. I mean, the numbers don't lie.
Right.
So but it's that's why I was listening to it so intently, is like, well, how do I put it in perspective to other stuff that I should be afraid of just in life?
Yes.
Like I can get the flu, I can, a lot of things can go.
Well, your odds of dying in a car accident, or the very fact that 150,000 people die every day in the world,
That's the thing. And it's like when you kind of look at it, it's like, all right, so if you travel and something happens and you get it, you'll probably be okay.
Right.
But if you spread it and then your in-laws come over and then you might kill your mother-in-law, insert joke there.
Look at Zuckerman, of course. The guy that I keep thinking about is this story, and maybe by the time this is posted, it'll be figured out. But there's the guy in Northern California who supposedly spontaneously got coronavirus. They don't know. And here's my theory. You want to hear a real crazy theory? I don't really believe this.
Hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know how everything is manufactured in China?
Yes.
It's coming with germs on it?
Yeah, all the stuff they're shipping to us with Amazon is coming with the virus. And this guy opened his headphones or whatever he got.
He was so happy when he saw the smile.
And he put
on
them
the
on
box.
and he touched his mouth, and now he
Yeah.
spontaneously has coronavirus.
Yeah, well,
Put that on your
90%.
conspiracy
let's spread
sites.
that. Let's spread that rumor.
90% of our goods are manufactured in China.
This is all a long way of saying this is good news for you, Tom Papa, because
True. Because you're doing great.
listening on the way over here, people are going to just be staying in. Netflix stock, boom, the last 2 days through the roof because you can just sit at home and watch Tom Papa's special. You're doing great.
Yeah.
Even if you have the coronavirus and you're laying in bed, if you see it, you're going to feel better because Tom will say, you're doing great.
Yeah, your workplace is going to make you stay home for 2 weeks. They're going to pay you.
I'm
You're
not
doing
lying.
great.
No stuff. Everything that has to do with home, Peloton, everything's going up.
Yeah.
And everything that's travel and hotels and the rest of it
I know.
is getting creamed.
I know. I'm hoping that it doesn't mess with my tour.
When is your tour start?
I'm
What's
in the middle
going
of it
on?
now. I'm all over. I'm on tour now. This week I'll be in
Wuhan?
Washington State, and then I go to Wuhan. Then I go to Italy, this little place in Italy, and then I'm going to go through Africa.
Albania? Oh no, those are all the hot spots.
Yeah,
there's
all...
like 9 cases there. This is horrible.
I know. So I was traveling last weekend, and there were very few masks in the airports. There wasn't a lot of people. If you put a bandana on your face, are you okay? Like a cowboy? Would that do it? Because they're selling out of these masks.
It's probably
There was a chart about beards. That beards
are bad, right?
unless it's
Are bad.
Oh yeah.
unless it's really sealed around your mouth, that N95 mask.
Right.
Forget it. You're not
Forget
gonna.
it.
None of us are trained in bio warfare, and we've all seen the virus movies. I know. And you remember the little slit in the suit, and then the guy goes, ah, and he dies. Like you're telling me, these people we see on planes know what they're doing with germs. They touch the outside of the mask and put their finger in the air. They're all dead.
Once they said it spreads through coughing, I'm like, oh, forget it. I mean,
Yeah, and
all these
sneezing.
grown-ups, everyone's coughing. No one covers their mouths. It's
No,
like,
no.
Maybe it's going to cull the herd.
Maybe
I like the Peloton, by the way.
you do.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
It's been motivating me. I think it's so intimate with the guy on the screen, with
Yeah.
my teacher, that I see him as a real person. And I look forward to getting in there and doing it again, like with that guy on that class.
So
Can
you
he see-
broke the home exercise barrier.
They might have.
So many people have.
It's
My
pretty-
brother, Wally, of all people, is doing it. He's a guy who's never been to a gym in his life.
right.
Howard Stern talks about it all the time.
I'm over.
too.
I just reached 100 days, 100
Wow.
workouts on it. They give you a little badge. It's
Can they see you?
if you don't put tape over the camera.
Oh.
There's a camera. Yeah, they can see you and you can see them, but I cover it up, and I don't do the live classes.
And so, what, from their perspective, where they're sitting in some studio somewhere, what do they see? A million faces on a board, or
Probably no. It's more like in the sidebar, like it shows like it's scrolling.
Yeah.
Of like how many people are like
Right,
10,000
got
people
it.
taking this class, and I'm number 3,500, and you have your little name and your whatever.
does the camera ever turn on at night when you're walking around in your underwear? And just, hey,
Probably talks to Alexa.
having a shake.
If Alexa tells it, it's something worth looking at.
hey, Tom, what are you eating over there? Oh, hey, Teach. what are
Between
you
my
doing?
Nest camera, my Alexa, that thing, yeah, they're all watching. They don't have at
bad.
it. It's not much going on in my house.
It's bad. It's bad.
Is it bad?
Yeah, don't you think?
No, I don't think
You
so.
like people listening in? And
Here's the thing. Here's the first. Yeah, I don't mind people hearing me, whatever.
what about when you're fighting when you're with your wife?
That's fine. The thing that's really good that gave me pause was, so they're sharing the information that you're talking about and scanning at the supermarket. So the insurance company will be like, okay, so you want a policy? Well, here's what you've eaten in the last. You buy a ton of Oreos, cheese doodles, and Slim Jims, and a pack of cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like you may be lying to us about your policy, like that they're going to start.
Oh,
you know what
sure.
I mean?
So then we have
Those
ghost
kind of things.
buyers.
Right.
We get a ghost buyer. Go in there and buy all of the shit for us.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Who's
That's
eating that food?
Yeah, but like that kind of an intrusion, like to use, I guess anything that's going to prevent you from lying to companies might
Right.
be not as much fun.
I don't like the DNA ones. my partner John freely gave his DNA away to a company, his and his daughter's.
My whole family's done it, but me.
They can make another you eventually at some point when they want to make some Tom Papa clones.
Yeah, I guess
cash
so.
in.
Yeah.
Take them on tour. Hit 6 countries at once.
Yeah.
Just send him to Wuhan. Number 3.
Number 3's dead. You got the coronavirus.
Number 1's at home on a
Just
laptop.
make 6 more and send them out. Nobody knows. It's going to be fine. Hey, what's going on with your car? After you were on last, what did you have that
I have a Tesla.
No, there was some part of a vintage car that you had me tracking down.
Of the Volkswagen.
Oh, right. You have a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, I have a Volkswagen Beetle
from what
67.
Year? 67.
And I wanted the little handle, the top of the handle of the gear shift.
The knob.
Yeah, the knob that had a little insignia on it. And I haven't found that.
You still?
Yeah.
I didn't find it?
No.
You would think that's an easy find.
Yeah.
Well, you know where we're going to find it? Saturday.
At the Lit Show.
There's a show.
The Volkswagen show?
It's a Porsche show, but there's a lot of vintage Volkswagen that you'll find. This is exactly what the Lit Show is about.
Right.
It's called the Lit Show, Porsche Lit Show and Meet. It's where it's at the Hilton or the Hyatt.
Keep your eye open for me.
You're not even listening.
Yes, I am.
He's on his phone.
The Hilton or the Hyatt?
It's at the Hilton, sir.
It's at the Hilton.
It's always been at the Hilton, sir.
Okay, so it's like 7 to what? Like 2?
Yes.
So it's parts guys from all around the world with the most obscure parts. There's a ton of Volkswagen stuff there. Even if it's not there, there'll be a guy who'll go, "Here's my card. I will get this for you."
Some guy
Keep
brings
your eyes
his
open for me,
moldy
'cause I won't be
box, and he brings his treasures like the Antique Road Show. And it's the same stuff he's had every year for 20 years, and he never sells anything.
And then finally someone walks in.
comes along, yes.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're gonna maybe that show is already aired, but Zuckerman and I are going down there with a little kit. I'm gonna remember to turn it on this time,
Nice.
and we're gonna do a tour of the Lit Show, which we've never done.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's all the Porsche celebrities. I think Pat Long will have been on or will be on. Magnus will be down there.
Very cool idea.
But do you have a picture of this part?
If I might.
After we're done,
please, that would be
I'll send
helpful.
it to you.
This is because neither of us have anything to look for, so this would be really fun
be great.
to try and find it.
All right, I'll try and take a picture.
Jerry's not coming out, right?
Which is a shame because there's always 1 or 2 guys that have traveled all the way from Europe with a special envelope or toy or something that they want to present to Jerry. They don't know that he usually just tosses it. But you're right. But this is like something
He
so
doesn't.
important.
He keeps some of it, and then he passes it off to us.
Yeah.
You want this? And I go, sure. I've got some nice stuff that he was handed.
Is there anything that you would be excited to see there that you would get?
Oh, well, I've been doing this. Jerry told me about it in the 90s, so I've pretty much gotten everything. The posters, the steering wheels, the bumpers for my 58 Speedster.
Is that a bummer that you reached like the end?
No. This, to me, is really the first meeting of all the crazy car Porsche people of the year.
Okay.
The beginning of the car season, the official...
Right.
And it's a real insider thing, and it's really small. And I find, Zuckerman, correct me if I'm wrong, it's more of a social event these days, right?
It's like the first debutante ball of the season.
Right.
All the goofballs are there.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of I'll buy a bunch of models for the kids, which
Right.
is fun.
Right.
I got no wall space left.
Yeah.
And, hopefully I'll be surprised by something that I didn't know existed. I like ashtrays, but I bought 3 last year, and I used them to smoke cigars with, and I'm only using one of them, my beloved Bosch cigar ashtray.
Nice.
That's cracked but not broken, and I have a couple of Volkswagen ones behind it.
That's good.
I taught, by the way, my son, who's very young, to drive on a Volkswagen Beetle this past weekend.
Oh, no way.
He's 12.
That's great.
And
how much fun was that?
it was a perfect car to teach someone how to drive manual on, right? Just
right.
no torque, 48 horsepower.
Yeah, just putter
And
around.
it was really, really
tricky
fun.
gears, though. Tricky, like, right?
That dog leg.
It's a little, yeah.
Yeah, but if you can do that,
Yeah.
I just thought maybe he's a little young to do.
Where'd you
Yeah,
do
that's
12
what I
in the neighborhood?
At the airport.
That's when I saw it with the FAA watching where President Trump lands.
No problem.
Not right there.
Near there.
Like kind of around the corner from there.
Yeah, where a 12-year-old out of control definitely could have gone.
We were
very
laughing
quickly.
about the explanation. Well, he's only 12. You have a 12-year-old on an airport, on a tarmac?
Not on a tarmac. We were nowhere near the tarmac.
Nowhere near.
No, not at all. No, I respect the rules of Santa Monica Airport, and I love Santa Monica Airport. I would
Yes,
never
indeed.
violate them in that way.
Absolutely not.
I've done a couple launch controls for Jerry, which is fun, on his aisle, but that's different.
a launch control.
Yeah. Launch control is when you, in some of these new Porsches, it's a way to kind of accelerate the car quickly, automatically. So the engine automatically revs up to like 6,500 RPMs. Your foot's on the brake, and the second you let off, all hell breaks loose.
It modulates perfectly for the perfect 0 to 60 time.
Yeah.
That's great.
And we're going to be doing that in a variety of cars, Zuckerman. I think Mercedes is sending some stuff for us to drive.
Oh, nice.
To the Lit Show, I'm going to be driving a Koenig C62.
That'll be insane.
You can check it out. Matt Farah did a one take with it, and it really put him off. He said you can't see anywhere, and I asked the owner, this guy Jen I know who's in a Porsche community. I said, can I drive this into the valet circle? And he said, go ahead. And I go, is the clearance going to be fine? Let me show you this car. It's a big red race car, and he said, just do it. What do you think about that?
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, I think it's telling that everyone in the world is driving this car but him. He just has put it out there hoping that it just gets destroyed.
No, he shares it with
Shares
everybody.
it, yeah,
There it is right there.
Oh my God! It's like the Batmobile.
And I think we should follow that with the Volkswagen Beetle, the police car.
That's
36
Well, I thought maybe you would ride with me. You and I could ride in this thing.
and we'll die together.
Yeah.
I think I might need your eyes and ears, because otherwise,
You can't see out of it.
There's another issue with the car. Apparently, it has these special door hinge locks.
Oh, so if we crash, we die?
If you catch on fire, you can't get out.
If we crash and the power goes down, we're not getting out of that thing.
I'm not getting that fucking thing.
Come on,
Fucking crazy.
Those are
well,
claustrophobic.
What do they call that? The
A lock?
yeah,
Death, premature death,
You're locked in.
third-degree burns.
death locks.
What are you looking for?
Can you think of anything better? Is there any better way to die?
Screaming, clawing at the plexiglass.
They died doing what they love. That's a phrase I cannot stand.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to die doing what they love. They love it. They don't want to die doing it. But that would be us. No, I think we can, and I think we can drive with the doors a little open. And just kind of leave them cracked. In case we get hit in the side, they might close.
Who has this car?
This is a good plan.
Yeah.
Who's giving you this?
Somebody who doesn't
This
want to
guy,
be in it.
Someone who knows better.
Someone who made the
he
mistake
actually
of buying
does.
it.
He actually does want to be in it, but he's giving it to us, and he's very generous to do that.
In SoCal?
Yeah, it's going to be right here.
All right.
And we will be at that lit show, and it's too late. You guys have already missed it. I read
Well,
something
I'll send
about
you the little picture of my little thing that I'm looking
Your
for.
knob.
We're going to find it.
That would be great.
This special of yours is up, right?
Yeah, it's been streaming for the last couple of weeks.
How do you get a stand-up special like that? What do you do? Do you
Tell
call Ted
jokes for a
Saranda?
long time, and
But does someone approach you, or do you go to them and go, I'm ready to do this?
you ask them, and your agents are poking around, and where it comes time for the next special, and where are you going to do it?
Okay.
And then you try and find a home for it.
And where have you done it before?
I've done them for Comedy Central. I've done it for Epix, that channel Epix.
But
and
nothing like Netflix, right?
No,
Right?
the impact of Netflix is so much greater.
Why?
It's just where everybody watches, and
Global.
you could just tell the impact of it immediately was just really off the charts.
Like, what is different? You getting Hawaiians reaching out to you? Or?
Yeah, just like, all the gigs are coming in, and just on social media, people are sharing it so much.
Oh, wow.
This was the first thing I've done where word of mouth was like, it had a real big impact. It hit, and everybody gets it on their system, and then everybody telling everybody else, you got to watch this, you got to watch this, you got
Wow.
to watch this. Like, that was the first time, like, that a special of mine really resonated like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really.
And are you getting fans now from other countries in these coronavirus destroyed villages?
I've seen it downloaded in Dutch. People are
really
putting it up in Spanish.
How do you know? How can you see where it's downloaded?
Instagram. People.
Oh, right.
People just send you. I'm watching you now.
Oh, that's
in
fun.
The Netherlands, yeah, or I'm watching you here, and they show my little. It's on their laptop or their TV, and it's me talking with Dutch captions underneath it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
They've really managed to get this Peloton of comedy thing down Netflix, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like we don't go to the comedy club anymore. We'll just turn on the TV on Saturday night and watch you and
then they come out
Chappelle.
though. It's pretty amazing. Like,
They do.
They really all my things that were on tickets blew up when I was on because it's
Really?
all on tour and looking at what's selling, what's not selling as we just started launching, and then as soon as the special hit, it just all started to sell.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, they want to come out. There's as much as a special is great, and the whole challenge in doing the special is to make it as close to the real live experience as you can.
Right,
You
right.
don't want it to seem stilted. You want it to seem when you're watching at home that you're kind of watching it live. As close as you can get to that, it's still not live. You know what I mean? There's still an experience when you see someone live and catch the little facial expressions and the energy there and. So people know it's like a band, It's like the album kicks ass, but to see it live is is a different part of that.
So how long do you do when you go out?
Like an hour 15.
An hour 15?
Yeah.
And who do you have open for you?
Rotating people: Paul Morrissey, Kira Sultanovich, Erica Rhodes.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of rotates.
All right.
And then if it's in certain places, I've just been going out on my own and doing it, and that's fun too. Just go do the whole hour and a half by myself. Yeah, just walk out and do it. In these performing arts centers, and it's more like an evening with,
Right.
And I like that too.
Do you have a favorite place you like to do your show?
No, it's kind of all over. It's wherever the weather's just a little bad. It generates good people. Yeah, the places I don't like doing as much are where the weather really is great and people have great days.
They're happy.
They're happy. They're sun kissed.
That's
and
interesting.
They drank during the day, and they're like, all right, you want to complain? We'll listen to you. But you go to Minnesota, and they're like, yeah, they're right on board. They're like, yeah, we scurry from our car to our house, and we get a couple days of sunshine. Yeah, we understand what you're talking about. You want it? You have some grievances? Air them out.
Do you, when Jerry calls you now to open for him, do you say, I'm sorry, I'm too big, Jerry. I'm too big for you, and I can't do these gigs?
No, it's not a matter of being too big, but I just kind of was going out on my path and
right.
just doing my own thing. And I miss it though. I miss the hang.
It's so much fun.
He has the best gigs in the world.
Yes,
and they're so professional in the way they do them, and the audience they attract. It's just,
yes,
there is nothing.
And the fun that surrounds the weekend.
And it's the greatest people hanging with him and Kevin, and it's so great.
Am I right in assuming there's no other comedy little group like that on the weekends?
No, I mean, but
because he really knows how to have fun. It's
you travel the right way.
Yeah,
it's all set up the great. I mean,
there's movies. There's a million meals.
I felt like I would go on a spa. Like, I'm not kidding.
Spa package.
Really? I didn't have to think about a thing, and you knew you were going to be fed at the right time.
Yep.
You were going to be having just laughter with your friends, and you would show up at a movie, and then you're on stage. And you're back in a beautiful hotel, and I'm telling you, I tour and go to the same cities that I went to for years with Jerry. And it's a whole different town.
It is.
Because now you're in the airport. You're getting to the hotel. You have to figure out, when am I going to eat? You've got to talk to the people about when you're going to go on. Like, it's work. It's like, it's fun. It's still great. But his thing is so
it's good.
I'm telling
solid.
you would not you just don't worry about anything but laughing.
It's very Rat Packy. It's a very Rat Packy, but nicer.
But nicer because they're responsible, and it's like you're not getting hammered late at night.
Right, exactly. Right.
It's like we're going to have breakfast. Really. It's taking care of yourself because knowing what's important.
There's none of that stuff. Yeah.
No, man, I'm telling you. And that part I really, really miss. I mean, he's, one of my...
And then you have George Shapiro his manager, who's what, 90?
Yeah,
still there,
still going.
cheerleading everybody the whole weekend, taking breakfast orders.
Yeah,
it's such,
oh my God,
such fun.
It is the best tour. So that is like that's the. I'm really grateful that I'm able to go and sell these theaters myself now, and it's good for my career in the long run. But missing just hanging with those guys is really that part I really.
How did you get through the last year without that knob? Is what I'm still thinking about on this side of the
knob.
table.
There's an ugly fat knob on it. It's just an ugly fat knob on there that's kind of awkward.
I could not live with myself until this thing was found, and now you've coronavirus infected me with this part search. And I'm telling you, I've got a day of work here. I'm not going to be comfortable until I have a beat on where I'm getting this part. Zuckerman knows.
Yeah, that's the difference.
I don't like this. I want to be there as it's screwed on.
And he feels a relief, like he's burped or farted, and then it's all good.
Oh, you wouldn't believe what I've been doing at because I've been writing up in my office up at the house, and to procrastinate, as a good writer does, I like to work on the house and get stuff done. And I was out of things to work on at the house, and I started working on the street. I am not lying. I had a DWP crew there yesterday. I had them fixing leaks. I demanded they come out, and then I got the hard hat on, and I went out with them, and we plugged leaks. We dug at least the size of this table down and plugged 2 water mains.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you know they were leaking?
Because I was out doing some inspections. When I pull out of the driveway, there's a puddle there, and it annoys the hell out of me.
Oh, that's a real writer.
Then I found it, and then I was like, well, do I finish this treatment, or do I get to the bottom of these leaks? And boy, these DWP crews are great. What a bunch of great dudes. They work hard. Like, what do you guys need? You want something to eat? No, we're good. We think we know where it is. And they drill down. They have this long listening pole, Zuckerman, and they put one end in his ear and the other end. But if you curlied him on the head, it would go right through his brain. It's like a sharp.
How great if you didn't have a thing you're supposed to be writing, you wouldn't have found any of this out.
No, I know. But now I'm out of things. And this is actually, I'm happy that this knob has come along because I'm out of stuff to do. But the house, the first one, had been leaking for a year. And it was a gusher. So
Really?
I would say the equivalent of maybe half on in your bathtub with maybe the cold, half on.
Yeah.
Just coming up and going down the street.
Jeez.
And I kept reporting it, and I'd forget about it, and then think it was rain and the rest of it. But I discovered it was my neighbor's house. I said, was he getting charged?
Oh, yeah,
You never looked at his bill.
But it was it was someone else.
They would know that.
I'll tell you after. But it's one of our famous motorsports guys who has been is long dead and was getting charged. Do they get that money back?
If they have somebody who's going to, write and write, but
you know how expensive water is, right?
I understand that,
Yeah,
but it's
especially
unlikely that at that stage of the game that anybody's going to take up that charge.
What about you, Zuckerman?
I got enough problems with the DWP. Yeah.
On the other side of it, I do know a friend with a podcast who was very free with posting on Instagram from his house and talking about it ad nauseum on his podcast, and he has to move now.
He does.
Yeah, because people were showing up going, oh, yeah, I thought this was where it was.
Yeah, no, I know.
Himself.
Just fans, but enough where it's like, okay.
Our listeners aren't going to do that. They show up at Bill's in Malibu. We've created this little weekend place where everybody can come and hang out with us, and we can meet folks, and we meet folks all the time from around the world. It's nice. It's
That's
a nice
good,
time.
when it's not where your children live.
That we don't want to happen.
No, you don't need that.
Before you go,
yes, sir.
I was doing a little research on you, and I came across this Steve Carell story that you told the Daily Beast.
Oh yeah.
Tell us this story because I don't remember. I remember "Come to Papa," your sitcom.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever did anything on television.
Right.
I had done a set on Conan, and people at NBC saw it, and we got into development for this show, and which was kind of like classic,
Right.
What you always think as a young comic, that should happen, right?
Right.
So I got into development on the show called Come to Papa, which was my first little sitcom. And we were going along pretty well, and Jeff Zucker was the president at the time.
Right.
And he really loved the show, and it all looked really great and as moving along. And the pilot, people really liked the pilot. It just seemed like we were just kind of sailing along naively. And then he left. Zucker left, and a new president came in. Kevin Riley came in, and did not like it. And
Wow.
we were the one show they were going to put us on mid-season.
Right.
And he comes in and he inherits a couple shows, and mine was one of them. And new president as the thing
Death
goes.
knell. Right.
Screwed.
I'm not going to live or die on this. Isn't going to be my first show.
Right.
This thing. So, but he kept it alive. Then we went into the balance of trying to keep it alive and make him happy and try and get on the air. So that's the tug and pull of development, and they called and said, it was just me hanging out in my house with my wife. I'm a writer, and it's just fun time. John Sally played a mailman. And it was like this crazy, just people hanging out. And he said it should have a workplace. Okay, we'll have a workplace. And then they called a little later and said, we have a deal with Steve Carell. We'd like to put him in your show. And the showrunner was like, I don't know if we put him on the show. We love him, and he's great, and they really love him. They have a deal with him, so that's probably good for our show if we put him in it, because that keeps him. They want him to work.
Right. But where is Steve Carell at that moment?
Steve Carell. This is before Anchorman. He's taping Anchorman. He had been successful on The Daily Show.
Okay.
So he's a guy.
Correspondent. Right.
And he's valuable, but he hasn't had his big hits yet,
So he's at your level then?
He's at my level, a little more notoriety than I did.
Well, isn't that a little scary?
Yeah. Well, there was reasons for trepidation for sure, but you don't know. I didn't know.
No, I know.
I don't know what you do in this situation,
call.
and you
That's
really
a tough
needed
call.
somebody to say, you just say no and just live or die. Here's the lesson I learned at the end of the story.
Okay.
Is that you say no, and if what do you mean I'm going to work in a newspaper? Tom Papa has never worked in a newspaper.
Right.
I don't want to pretend to be an actor working in it. Like, what show are we
Where
making
did that
now?
come from?
Anytime you say yes to that stuff, it's going to end up false, and it's going to weaken it, and it'll end up flopping, and they're going to kill it then.
Right.
So have the balls to say no right here, and
Right.
So what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to kill it. Well, they're going to kill it.
Yeah, anyway.
Likely, yeah. So
and they're going to blame you for their dumb ideas.
Right. So take the hit there and show some conviction. Maybe you stand by what you really believe in, and maybe you'll be successful.
Right.
I don't know.
But you said yes to Steve Carell.
We said yes to
I would have
Steve
said
Carell.
yes too, by the way.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
And a little sidebar as we're ramping up to the end of the story. The other person I desperately tried to get to play my best friend was Rainn Wilson, who was Dwight on The Office. And so I jumped it. So The Office is in development at the same time. And they don't know who's going to be the lead guy in the American version of The Office. And they start interviewing Steve Carell for it while we're making my show. And we're not on the air or anything. We're just like fiddling around with scripts and trying to get it off the ground. And without us knowing it, they were already peeling him off and trying to figure out, he would be the guy to be in The Office.
Right.
But they shot 4-6 episodes with me as him playing my boss.
Oh.
And it was like The Office character. He was this kind of bumbling boss who no one really liked.
They can't do both.
And he can't do both.
No.
And they kill my show and put him as the boss in The Office. And I only brought up Rainn Wilson because, of course, he was the other guy. We brought him to network twice, desperately trying to get him to be the guy, and it just didn't work.
Right.
Just those auditions didn't really fly. But then, so my thing got canceled, and then The Office goes off to great success.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a story.
Pretty crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it also, the positive lesson that I kind of learned from that, of course, I would have wanted to be The Office, or I would have loved to have had a show for 9 years.
Right.
But I learned the power of being a stand-up comedian, because after all this turmoil and all this craziness and wondering, like, what am I going to do? What happens now? Within 3 months, I was driving back on that same lot to do stand-up on The Tonight Show. And I'm back on the network. It was at NBC. I'm back on the network. And I realized, don't ever let this stand-up go, because all this stuff is pretty insane. You got to get pretty lucky to make this thing work. There's so many moving parts. But if I can just write material and be as great as I can, I do control that, and I
Right.
will continue to be
So
on
smart.
TV. So that was the one, at least the one good lesson.
I love that what you identify what I call the power of no. How to
Right.
say no, and no can be your best friend and your ally, and people don't realize that.
Yeah,
But you get lost on these network shows. You get lost on them. There are a handful of moments where I go, oh, if I only. But you never know what would have happened. Even if you had said no, you never know what's going to happen. But I will tell you this. You're doing great, Tom Papa.
You're doing great too, guys.
Zuckerman, you're doing great.
Well, thank you.
You are doing great. Look at us.
No complaints.
Look at this. In the middle of an afternoon, no one's got a real job to go
It's
to.
lovely.
We're hanging out in these beautiful cars.
And we're here.
Sit
You know
with
what we're going to
friends.
do? When we record here, we'll take a picture of our guest in front of their favorite car. How about that, Zuckerman?
Yeah, that's a good
Fantastic.
idea.
That's
idea.
as a little hook
Yeah.
Yes.
into the episode of Spike's Car Radio.
Very cool. Well, thanks for having me. I
our
appreciate
time's
you
up.
spreading the word.
You guys got to check it out. Netflix, perhaps you've heard of it. Tom Papa's latest special. You're doing great, famous around the world. Everyone's going to enjoy it, and then they're going to die of the coronavirus.
Say it
It'll be
in
the
the
last
Jerry
special
voice. Say it
that
in the
you'll ever see. We're all dead, Spike. Do you remember Jerry 2 weeks ago? He goes, I don't worry about viruses. I don't do that. That's not me, Bill.
It's for the little people.
That's for the little people.
little people die.
That is what I think when all this stuff happens. I'm like, what are the rich people doing right now to prepare?
Well,
what special Z-Packs do they have?
everybody's getting it except the
They're all
kids.
fucked.
You can get in touch with us if you want to advertise Spike's Car Radio. Just DM me and I'll put you in touch with Hangar 56. And we'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio, brought to you by Hangar 56. Listen to new episodes every Wednesday, and be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Waiting on a tax return? Hopefully it ends up in your hands. Fraudulent tax returns due to identity theft increased by 30% in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Our U.S.-based restoration specialists are experts dedicated to helping solve your identity theft issues. And all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. So we'll reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Help protect your information this tax season with LifeLock. Save up to 25% your first year at LifeLock.com/aware.